Hello, this is a little sample of how to make a contact sheet using Lightroom Classic. So you go to Adobe Lightroom Classic. Okay, I've got it on my dock. If you don't have it on your dock, you can go to any of your apps by going to the launch pad on a Mac. Okay, but find Lightroom Classic. I'm going to just use a default catalog. It doesn't matter what catalog you use. Okay, so when it comes up and says what catalog, you go back to a catalog of photos that you've made, but I'm just going to use a default one, which is a catalog of photos. It doesn't matter what comes up here. These are all a bunch of old photos that I've worked on in the past, so I just had it come up with just an old folder, and there's lots of files in this. Okay, don't worry about what that looks like. Now, when you log into Adobe, you need to continue with Google and get all logged in. Now, we want to use Lightroom Classic. You can use Adobe Lightroom, which is a little bit upgraded version from Lightroom Classic, but Lightroom Classic is kind of like the true Lightroom for photographers, for digital photographers. Okay, so here's just a bunch of photos. Don't even look at those, because it'll come up with a catalog that you last worked on. All right, so you go to File, New Catalog, okay, and name that catalog. Now I'm going to name this a contact sheet. You can name it whatever you want. Now this catalog is going to go on my desktop. All right, and I'm just going to hit Create and hit I'll hit Skip this time to back my catalog up, my old catalog, and it's going to turn it off and turn it back on. All right, so now I've got Lightroom on. I'm going to try to fit it here in the window so you can kind of see all of Lightroom Classic here. So I'll just kind of do this here just so you can kind of see the whole program. All right, so once you have Lightroom Classic up, there's Library, Develop, Map, Book, Slideshow, Print, Web, and off to even like Adobe's iCloud. But iCloud would be for Apple, but Adobe Cloud. The big thing is Library is where you find your photos, Develop is where you work your images, Map is where you took the photos, Book is to make a printed book, Slideshow is to make a slideshow, Print is to print your photos right locally or whatever, and then Web is to make a web page or web design your photos. Okay, so for right now, we always want to be in Library when we first go. We hit Import, and you got to go find your photos. Now, before you kind of start this whole idea, I'm going to minimize Lightroom Classic here. I made a folder called Sample Wedding Pics. You want to get organized, and I put 12 in there. These are the ones I'm going to build my contact sheet. You want to stay real organized on your computer and not have like hundreds and hundred photos in one folder. So this is just a sample wedding pic folder, but if you went out and did a photo shoot and you've got 20 or 30 or 50 photos, or 10 or 12, you want to have at least that to make a nice contact sheet. 8 at least, okay, and you can do it less than that, but I'll show you why. All right, so make a folder, get the photos you're going to be working on, and then go into Lightroom Classic, get it all turned on, go to File, New Catalog, name it, and that turns it off, and then it's going to say, where is your photos that you want to get. Now, I like this little arrow right here. You click on this arrow, okay, and then you can say it's in your Pictures folder, your Movies folder. It's on my desktop. You saw me make it on there. And on my desktop, I've got a folder called Sample Wedding Pics, okay. Now, if you've got photos laid out on your desktop, it'll start showing them in this area here. But don't worry about those. Go to your folder you built, okay, and I'm going to go to my Sample Wedding Pics, and here they are. And here they are, and you can uncheck them. You can check just the ones you want if you have more than whatever. I want to use all of mine, so I'm just going to hit all photos. But if, let's say you have like 100 photos here and you only want to do 10 or 12 or 20 or 30 on a contact sheet, then pick just the ones you want. But if you've got exactly what you want in that folder, you can hit all photos, and then you hit Import. Okay, now it brings it into Lightroom Classic, okay, and it's going to show you your what's called your film strip down here. Here's my film strip, and if I click on one of these photos, just one, double click, it will show me the photo large, and then I can use my arrow keys on my keyboard to zip through the sample wedding pictures that I've shot over the years. Okay, so just a very few of the hundreds of thousands of photos I've shot. So When you get to that point, we want to go to, once you get the photos, you can work your images, you can go to develop and start playing around more with your photos and making them lighter and darker and fixing them every way you want and doing some really cool stuff. You can go over here to presets and do some vintage looks and all types of amazing stuff with the photographs. No problem, okay? But when you're done and you're ready, okay, and you've got your photos, I've got 12 here, okay, and it says, obviously it says 1 through 12. You go to print, okay? Now, if I was going to print this right now, it'd be on a US letter, and that's the size I'd print. That's fine. I don't want to print this on my Epson printer right now and whatever, but you're going to come over here to the left side. Now, if you need to open these up, here's arrows here. There's your templates, collections, okay? Open up the templates if it's not already open, and then open up your Lightroom templates, and then you're going to come down here and pick the 4x5 contact sheet. Now, if you've got more than that, 5 by, don't worry about it. You're going to change this number anyway. 4x5 would be 20 photos on a contact sheet. Click on that, and you can see how small it is here because they're not all selected. If you want them all selected, you'd hold down Command, Control on a PC, and you can select the ones you want. Okay? If you want them all, hit Command A or Control A on a PC, and it fills it up. Now, again, this contact sheet pre-built is for 20 up on a sheet, so it's going to make them kind of small. But if you come over here to the right side, open Layout if it's not already open, and look at all these controls here. Now, this is an important one. Rows and grids. It's, again, 5x4 is with the default, but I can take this down to 4x4, 3x4, 3x3, 4x3. 4x3 is the best for 12. Okay. You can also tell it you want to, keep them square or not. You can change them vertically. You've got a lot of controls here. Make the contact sheet how you want it to look. All right. Do I want the bottom more white or less? What do I want around here? And you can type in numbers here if you really want to as well. Okay. Now it's showing the name of each photo here. So if a client was picking, hey, I want a nice big 8x10 or 16x20 of this one, they'd give you that number, or they could tell, hey, I want the couple looking at each other, blah, blah, blah. So you like the file numbers. If you don't want the files under there, you can tell it not to. Okay, very easily tell it not to. Zoom to fit, okay, that kind of zooms them all in to fit in a square space. Let's say you're doing Instagram or whatever, kind of give an idea how they're situated, but right now I don't want to do that. I mean, whatever. Rotate to fit, okay. You can turn that on and it kind of rotates them to fit. Repeat one or, whatever. So lots of ways. Stroke the borders, you can do that or not. I don't like to have that stroked, but you can. You can change the color of the stroke and everything else. All right, lots of control on this. Show guides, okay. You can have them each be in a square box or not, kind of like old-fashioned film. I'm turning that off. Page background color is white, but you can change that if you'd like to have it like a nice gray in the background. But again, I don't like to do it. It shows a white border around it, but whatever you're into, all right. I do like this, the identity plate. Now the identity plate, there's my name. Yours might just say your computer number or whatever. You can just change this by clicking on it, hit edit, and then you can literally change whatever you want to put there. I'm going to leave my name on that. You might, I might put Lou Crandall Photography, or I could put Lou Crandall Photo. I didn't spell that right, but whatever. Okay, I could put Lou Crandall photo.com, which I've got that website. I can change the everything I want on it. I can change the font and everything. Okay, once I have that, you see where it's at. You want to pull it around and get it where you want. Like I'm going to put it down here in the corner, but notice how it doesn't fit down here in the corner because I've got white border strokes going on. So in that case, I'd have to come up here back at the top, and I could. The default won't let you go smaller than 0.25, but I think if you just click on these and put 0 zeros in there, 0.00, it'll start taking away that. Oh, it looks like it has to have 0.25. That's not going to help. All right. So maybe I can go work my images a little bit better, so there's more space around it, so I have a way to get my name showing. Okay. I want your name down at the bottom, somewhere, maybe in the middle. I want your name there so I can see who you are. Okay, and of course, if I was advertising my business, I would keep that down there. And I've got it in light gray. You can change your identity plate to whatever color you want, override color, and you can make it black, color, blue, whatever you're feeling. Opacity-wise, okay, scale-wise, you can make it bigger and smaller. But I'm going to put it down there, just kind of shows my name down here at the bottom, all right? Watermarking, you can put a watermark in on everything so people can't print this thing off, but that's not so important on that. Photo info, I can turn that off and it doesn't show any of the info underneath each one or not. I don't care if you do that or not. If you don't want me to see or someone to see the file names, you can turn that off. I'm going to leave it off, and I'm going to put my name right there, and there's some nice a contact sheet. Now, a contact sheet, it used to be that you would contact the film with a piece of paper and print it in the darkroom. You would develop it in the darkroom in chemicals, and then the client could see what's on the negatives in positive form, color or black and white, depending on what film you're shooting. In this case, we still use a digital contact sheet to show our client, here's a bunch of photos, which one would you like for your wedding gallery or your dress shop or whatever, if you're doing like a wedding dress, I don't know. So there you go. Now, the next point down here at print job, open that up if it's not opened up, okay, right here. Just open that up, okay. Right here, do not hit printer because you're not in my room printing or I'm not in my studio printing. I want to virtually print this. So you click on it, JPEG file. I want to make a JPEG file out of it. What size? Leave it as the default. Quality is the best. 300 PPI is perfect, okay. And then you hit print to file. Now that's really important because a lot of my students right here mess this up. Like it just says print and they go, how do I make a JPEG file out of this again? It's just right here. You're going to click on print job, click printer. No, I want to go JPEG file, so it can be a photo, okay. Hit print to file. You're going to name this. I'm going to name it just Crandall sample contact sheet. You can name this how you want. I'd like your name there somewhere, even if your last name. Where's it going to go? On my desktop, okay, and then hit save. Up at the top here, you see it. It saved it right there. It's already on. I can minimize it. Now it's on my desktop here. Here it is, okay, and then if I just hit my space bar on a Mac, I can see what they are. It's a beautiful contact sheet. That's what you're going to turn in for your assignment. There's a contact sheet. So every time you go and do a photo shoot or you do an assignment, I would like you to turn in a contact sheet of your work so I can see what your progress was as you were shooting your assignment. Okay, that's how to build a contact sheet, and keep on shooting.